Hi. Oh, my abs. Oh, my legs. All right, guys, it's abs and glutes day. My abs are on fire. If you're looking for an abs and glutes day workout, look at our Facebook, LLC Tactful. We probably already posted somebody's 20-minute button abs workout. And we gave you the playlist. I mean, we didn't give you the songs. We told you the artists. You'll create the playlist. But I mean, like, that definitely get you through that workout. Um, this morning is going to be a little different. Hi, welcome to all of you who are new. If you've never seen one of my videos before, let me just put this out there up front. I come in three flavors: real, raw, and ridiculous. Um, why? I'm from the south side of Chicago. People just kind of gave it to me straight growing up, um, and I've learned to appreciate that. Additionally, I maneuver a lot of environments where I really can't afford to play with people's emotions or psychology. So I do have to, you know, get down to like the raw truth of it all and then deliver something real enough to land to create change. And ridiculousness is just because, like, I have a lot of personality. Leo rising and a lot of Leo in both my Vedic astrology as well as my Western astrology. So I'm not always going to be able to hide who I am, right? This makes me real. The only things that are not real: color of my eyes, my hair. Yeah, that's about it. Everything else is real. When I say the color of my eyes, like, no, I wear contacts. I've been wearing contacts forever. Um, I just so happen to like green or hazel. Actually, they're hazel, but it's because I can see them. My eyesight's pretty bad, but I do switch up and wear glasses occasionally. My natural eyes are brown; they're visibly brown. Um, and the hair is just because I have a really good texture of hair, so I like to be able to like wear protective styles, but also, I like the different energies from different looks, right? Like you get to channel certain looks. I don't know. That's just me, though. Needed to get that out of the way because first things first, we're gonna do the selfies pull, right? So this is a oracle deck created by myself as a product of Tactful Disruption. It's a part of our Afterwards series, right? So you're here with this YouTube channel. This is Afterwards, right? And that's because typically, once you've heard something, in order like you recognize where it resonates and or what it sparks, and it's usually afterwards, right? Like, so those who say I'm clairaudient, I'm claircognizant, it's usually afterwards. You become pretty clear thinking afterwards. Or you hear something in a song and it's like afterwards, like there's something about those words really resonated. But also it's about what's afterwards. Like what happens next. So I love the double entendres. I'm a poet. I do have 2 books out there. Why am I telling you all of that? Because you don't know me, right? You know what you came here for, but you don't know me, right? And a lot of the times, that could be the thing we're wrestling with. When we don't know other people, but we accept certain things about them, we're still negotiating some personal discrepancies with self. But these selfies are just a way to help gain perspective, increase worldview, and challenge self to think things through and think about them differently. So I'm going to pull first card out. This never fails, right? Get a glimpse of self occasionally. Now, did you hear everything I just said? Did you hear everything I just said? Okay. Truth is unseen but felt energetically, right? So a lot of when you come to this space is about how do they resonate with me, right? When something resonates with you, that's all energy, right? That's all vibration, right? It's like that Gestalt theory, right? Like boundaries. What am I sensing here, right? Or like, you ever been somebody like air has been coming off of them? It's like interesting. Or even Reiki practitioners, or people who they can get things off of you without touching you, right? Or you ever notice how sometimes you can be on the screen and the person rolls their hands through and they have healing energy, and somehow you feel that healing energy? Or like something that would happen to me when I was younger, when I would watch music shows, it's almost like I could feel what was happening in that room. Like, that's how energetically sensitive I am. Now, that has problems as a therapist, because like people come in the room with stuff and it's not necessarily stuff I can't help them work through, but there are parameters in place to make sure that, like, I create a boundary where, like, I don't take on too much of what they have energetically. What's next? Tighten up. Your screws are not loose. Okay, then I just tell you about this time where it was like when I was younger, I'd watch music videos and I could feel what was happening energetically. Like that used to like it was trippy. And the reason that was trippy is because it was like, do other people experience stuff like this? Turns out, yes, there are a plethora of people who experience things like this, right? And so it just tells me like, okay, let me stand firm in that, right? I had to tighten up, like, okay, that it is that I'm experiencing that, but I'm not crazy. I get it when you have to convince yourself you're not crazy, right? And then you find people who are part of your soul tribe who get that you're not crazy either. All right, what's next? I fucking love this shit. Been there, ascended that. Hanging on to growth. What did I just say? Eventually you find a soul tribe who gets it, like you're not crazy, because there's a plethora of people experiencing the same things as you. Okay, collective. I mean, seriously, y'all gotta get y'all a deck of these. Now my deck is not like y'all's. I have a deluxe deck because I'm the creator. But we have sent some of these decks to the ones we feel are legit. You know, typically they actually identify as Wiccan as well, right? So we want to make sure we keep it with approved religion and all that other great stuff. That's not shade to anybody, and I want to be careful what I say because I understand sometimes people will sense something that's not there, right? Now there's default thinking and then there's the reality. Like, did I say that or did you misinterpret that? Like I said, I'm in a space and place real raw and ridiculous. I can't afford to be playing with people's emotional or mental psychology. So I do have to like get to the raw truth of a lot of things. And sometimes I find that some people, it's like, well, I'm telling you this and you don't believe me. I'm not obligated to. Like, well, that's a little bit too extreme for me to be like, well, yeah, thank you, but no, like you don't necessarily have to resonate with everything someone says, and you don't have to take everything they say as your truth. And you will find that some individuals will become upset about that, and it's like, why does it upset you? Like, why must you be believed at all times? Who has convinced you that you are the only voice of reason for an individual? Because most people can work through a lot of their stuff unless there's specific things and challenges in play that require them to seek professional help, right? That's a whole nother can of worms we're not going to open. Hey, hey, it's okay to be lit when surrounded by the darkness. Your light is a natural gift. So what did I just say? You got some people who be like, but I want you to believe in what I believe. And it's like, ew. And it's like, but I'm intuitive too. Like, I might have a direct channel too. And then sometimes you'll be in a room where like none of those people are like that, right? Like I said, I've worked in environments where I can't be playing with people. They're already in a dark place, right? I have to keep it real, but I have to get to the raw truth. And then we have to find some ridiculousness in there, right? Like, we got to find a reason to laugh together, right? I will tell you, one of my favorite populations is maximum security. I absolutely loved working with that population, only because I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So, like, dealing with a lot of them was like talking to peers, right? These are like, a lot of their personality profiles are like the people I grew up around, So it's like, but there's a very real reality. Like, these people are in rehabilitation, but if they didn't have like chains around their waist and on their ankles, the potential for harm is very real, So being real about like, what's at stake here? Now look, box stand, think outside the box, right? Now I know a lot of people who are like, you work with the criminally insane, you can't do that, right? Like, that's crazy. And I'm telling you, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Like, it doesn't bother me, like hearing their stories. It's like, I had a hunch about that, right? When you hear like how many of them were raised by neglectful mothers, right? Or when you hear about how many of them are just scooping girls up left and right through pen pal, right? And you're like, what? I learned so much, but also I think it was interesting just to have those conversations with them that allow for them to shed a tear here and there, right? Obviously I can't tell you their stories, but I think it was interesting to be in that environment and to know that like I actually love working with that male population, right? Because a lot of the stuff that they had on their hearts or in their minds were normal human stuff beyond the fact that like they're caged up, you know. That's rough. That is rough to watch. I'll tell you that, right? That is rough to watch. Unless, you know, you're trying to get to another location and they decide, I'm going to drop my pants and masturbate in front of you. And it's like, but why? Like, it doesn't do anything for me. That's interesting. And you keep your eyes that way. That never really happened to me, but it did happen to a lot of my coworkers. I don't work in that environment anymore, but it is very interesting to see how people get housed or categorized in a maximum security in most prisons in general, but box in, think outside the box, right? So I'm in the world of mental health, right? But I also do executive coaching, right? Where I work with people who have a lived experience with a mood disorder, right? And I kind of help train them up leadership wise and how to really move out of like letting the mood disorder run a lot of their lives and teaching them to like, you know, put mind over matter and really start checking those moods and then getting in the habit of like self symptom management so that they can actually thrive in an environment that is for them, you know, like and I absolutely love that. And that's something new to take on because we don't really do mental health in the workplace, but I'm very grateful that I'm in a space where I can do that, where I can coach these individuals to really become outstanding citizens and leaders in their community. I'm very grateful. So I think outside the box when it comes to all things mental health. Even this is a version of mental health, right? Like this is a lot of the psychodynamic stuff, right? This is our instincts, our urges, our impulses, our compulsions. This is our needing to know, right? But this is also like, you know, that the mind that just is on loop and it's like, is it obsession or is it not knowing? Is it obsession or is it confusion, right? It's also the reality of like, I just need somebody I can resonate with. It's not always relate to, you know, it's resonate with. And even then, eventually you won't resonate with that person anymore or that reader anymore, right? So how do you develop a relationship that's helpful? You have to figure that you have to think outside the box about these things, right? Oh, look, I just told y'all about the things that I love that I get to do. Look, champion your cause. You are in the winner's circle. If you don't believe in this deck of cards, I don't know what to tell you, but like shit is legit. Like it's everything I literally said from the beginning of this video up till now, right? Champion your cause, right? If your thing has always been you know, to be helpful, but also kind of help people see things, then, you know, find that thing that's going to let you do that, right? I love what I do. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't feel like work because that's a lie. You know, it's like, if you love it, you'll never work a day in your life. The truth is, you will be working. You will be working to keep the thing that you love in your life, you know, like you can't not do therapy. You can't not do the notes, right? Like, it's the death of me, but I have to do the therapy notes, right? But in addition, I have to finish my proposal, right? Like I had to tweak a literature review. I feel like it's one of those things too where you have to carefully manage all that shit. And sometimes that's not the thing that a lot of people have strength in. And so they just go, I'm going to leave that to someone else, right? But it's like, hey, is that your thing, right? Like I have always been a money magnet since I was young, right? Like I started braiding hair. I started babysitting and braiding hair, right? Like that's what I did. I braided hair for everybody in the neighborhood, right? Everybody. Little kids, the gangbangers, it didn't matter. I braided everybody's hair, right? Everybody loved me. That afforded me an opportunity to always have community protection, right? To always be an outstanding person in my community. But in addition to that, that was just like preparation for becoming a therapist, right? That was just preparation for becoming a psychologist. Or that was just preparation for like, you know, understanding like, it doesn't matter if the market tells me they need it or do I see a pain in the market that I can solve, or is it really just kind of like, no, but I deal with different types of pains. And I don't necessarily know if I need to be where I'm at addressing those things, right? Like braiding, like my ex-husband used to say he did the same thing I did. And I was like, you did not go to school for a master's in counseling, nor do you have a license. And he was like, barbers are like street philosophers. And it's like, Okay, that might be true. Maybe, nonetheless, it's being around people, right? Where you're meeting people where they're at. That's all that is. You're just meeting people where they're at. And then you're progressing them forward. So that's what a lot of readers do. They meet you where you're at, right? So if you're noticing you're coming across several readers and they're all having the same collective message, well, we don't all know each other. So we can't be stealing each other's content, but that must suggest that, like, okay, there really is like an energy that can be tapped into, and I must be resonating at that frequency to be able to receive that message, right? But also, right, that's a lived experience, right? If you are a barber, somewhere in Atlanta where there's always gang violence and X, Y, and Z, and you just so happen to come across a reader who can tap into that, guess what? She's vibrating at that collective energy. Of course she can pick up on that and you can resonate with that. It's familiar because it resonates with your lived experience. Versus when you get a reader who's on a money vibration and they're like, yo, you can do this. And it's like, he's like, why do they feel so good to me? Because they vibrated a different frequency based on their lived experience, right? So you have to recognize when you're messing with the readers who kind of like tire you versus when you're listening to the readers who kind of like amplify you, right? It's all about where you're resting, right? That could look like a mood cycle to some people, right? Because one minute you're up, you're ready, you heard the reading, you're out there, and you're attacking life. And the next minute you're depleted and you're like, I don't have any energy and I don't know why, right? It's just an opportunity for you to look at those things. Why am I saying that? I don't know. What's the next card? Your truth is a doorway to value. Do you understand your character? What did I just say? You're going to vibrate with... I'm done, y'all. I can't make this shit up. You can get a deck of these. I promise you. Like, afterwards. Afterwards. Bro. Thank you for your time, your attention. I'm very grateful because you don't have to give me your time, your subscriptions, or your attention. Thank you for being open-minded, expanding your own worldview. So here's what I'm going to do. I just did the 7-card pull with the selfies, and now I'm just going to pull 3 of these, and that will tell me who this is maybe for or not for. Just switching it up a little bit because I do think that matters. All right. Who is this message for? And I'm talking about selfies. I think I got some people who are not believers, but I bet you believe this shit because you saw me do it on camera. 4th house. Okay, so talking to a Cancer, right? I'm talking to somebody who you're doing something different than what your family taught you to do, right? You're doing something, like you got some emotions that have been hidden, right? So you're attracted to this world because it's really helping you heal. Whoever you are, wherever you are. I don't know if you're a Cancer or not. You could just be somebody who feels deeply, and that is why this community resonates for you, right? And so let me put that together for you to see, right? So I said Cancer, been there, ascended that, hanging on to growth. It's family lineage, possessions, right? Tighten up, your screws are not loose, right? Family, something emotional happening in the family, right? And get a glimpse of self occasionally. Truth is seen but felt energetically. Didn't I say this right here is ruled by the moon? That's emotions. So whoever I'm talking to, you're somebody who's always been different from your family because of this attraction to this type of world, because of those type of gifts, and because there's some version of self that there's no congruence. And so this provides congruence for self, right? You probably grew up with a family don't speak well to you, and or a family that just, they have an idea of who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be in the world, and you just got something better and different for yourself, and you gain insight by interacting with others who offer new perspective. All right, at the center of this reading, I got Uranus. What did I say? So it's okay to be lit when surrounded by the darkness. Your light is a natural gift. Uranus is about community. I talk so much about barbershop communities and maximum security environments in the neighborhood. I can't make this shit up, y'all. Like, how would I know that, right? You just saw me pull these cards. I wouldn't know these things unless I know these things. It's okay to be lit when you're surrounded by the darkness. I can tell you how many people never tell me they don't believe in me or believe in this shit, but it's called tactful disruption for a reason. I think you don't know what you think might not be the truth sometimes. Okay, so Uranus is affiliated with Aquarius. Aquarius is about a community, social media, right? A digital footprint. It's about society. It's about innovation. It's about being okay with being different. It's also about the collective. Oh, thank you, Lord, because I'm confirm, confirm, confirm. You doubt me, I'll feel bad for you because I be like, there is something attached to me that's been attached to me since I was a kid. And that's just how I channel, okay? Like I just channel like that. Do I do that in sessions? Sometimes. No, I don't intend to always. Sometimes it depends. Depends on what's being presented in front of me with the client. There's too many cards. We just want the final one. But yeah, I can. But I'm also, that's a different world. I have to play by different rules, you know? You have to understand the rules of the environment, right? What are the rules of engagement? Because that matters. All right, what's this last one? Ninth house, Sagittarius. I fucking love this. Okay, so Sagittarius, that's travel, spirituality, higher education, the ability to speak with wisdom. Okay. Here's what's fun about this. The last deck was boxed in. Think outside the box. Have you ever met a Sagittarius? A highly evolved Sagittarius. You know why they can think outside the box? Because they're associated with all things higher level, higher education, right? Like spirituality, right? Like trap culture, right? Think outside the box. If you only talk about your culture and what you know, how can you be open to all things around you? You have to think outside the box, right? Next, champion your cause. You are the winner circle. You ever met a highly evolved Sagittarius? Yo, the confidence. We talked about this, right? High vibrational people, someone ascending you, right? There's certain readers you can function with because they're speaking to a lived experience. We spoke about, like, if you grow up around violence and all that other great stuff, and you got a reader who can tap into that energy, they're in that energy. That's the vibration that you resonate with. You come across a new reader, they talk to you on a money vibration, a wealth vibration, a healing vibration. It changes you because every interaction, it's almost like you feel the air coming through. You can feel something coming off of them. It's elevating you. Okay. And last but not least, your truth is the doorway to value. Do you understand your character? Now, if we're talking about dealing with the Sagittarius, we're talking about somebody who can kind of help take the veil off your eyes, right? We're talking about somebody who can speak a word that makes the seed that was planted bloom suddenly. Blossom, bloom, grow, what have you, right? We're talking about somebody who gets the mind to move from where it's stuck at, right? Traveler. Travel doesn't always have to be physical. Traveling can be mental or emotional. Think about it, right? And then we have the ninth house of Sagittarius, right? So overall, I could be talking to a Cancer, an Aquarius, or a Sagittarius. But because this is what it is, I'm talking to someone who's going to have a place in the world, maybe as a guru of some sorts, viewed in that light, as someone who has helped other people, who's sparked something in others to really look at where they are, and then it kind of, this is the archer, right? Like, and kind of helps them see where they could be, how far they could go, right? And they do that in community settings, right? And they typically resonate with a certain collective. But they help people with emotional challenges and issues, right? So I'm talking to people who want to be in the world of mental health and counseling, or people who have struggled with mental health and mood disorders. I'm talking to people who've grown up in homes where there's been some mental health and mood disorders. I'm talking to people who have been in communities, and because of the light that they shine, they've had challenges. And I'm talking to someone who typically doesn't say much, but when they do, it's powerful enough for it to resonate with people, and it sticks with them. So I'm talking to someone who's a game changer, right? Like somebody who's in their North Node. If you don't know your North Node, look into it. Look at the Vedic and then look at Vedic is more Eastern, it's more calculated versus Western. I'm not going to go into all those details. And then look at your Western North Node, right? Notice a lot of people in the communications profession say focus on your true north, right? What's your North Star, etc., right? Um, Everybody has a true north node to some degree, right? So that's when you're coming out of your south node. If you don't know what your south node is, look into that, right? Your south node really indicates why you function the way you do unconsciously for so long before you actually recognize that, like, oh, I can move into this, right? And that's how all of this actually works together. So wherever you are, I hope that that was helpful to you. Remember, not every therapist is a healer, not every healer is a clinician, and not every clinician will minister to your soul. You can book your session at tactfuldisruption.co. We don't have any more space for clinical. Oracle readings, you can book those, and they do happen at night because I do manage a lot of stuff in the day. I belong to a variety of different communities, and also I am responsible for everything. So I do have to manage all of that. I look forward to interacting with you. Bye. Oh my God, my abs are on fire.